Hi, I'm Elena and I love manga. Come along with me while I go manga shopping and then show you the haul, but explain to you why I decided to invest my money into certain titles as opposed to other things. So roll the footage. I actually went to two different half price bookstores in Indianapolis, Indiana, which aren't my usual hunting grounds because I'm from Texas, but I visited family in Indiana, so it was nice to go to a different hunting ground because I have pretty much picked all of mine dry. Like, I run the gambit of the half price books, and I'm always down to check out a new one, and this one had crazy good stuff. Like they had sections upon sections of books, and I love a clearance manga section because mine don't have them anymore. And if I can get them even deeper discounted, I absolutely will. And they had manga everywhere. So this other one wasn't as good as the first one, but sometimes the smaller places have gyms too. And I was definitely still picking up stuff and picking out stuff and inventorying what kind of things people were dropping off because it's all secondhand books, which means I'm not contributing to waste and I'm actually doing a service by buying tons of manga. Is how I keep justifying it. But here's the haul coming up. All right. So here I am with quite the stack of manga, and for sanity's sake, I've decided to break it down into three categories. The three categories I decided are things I found interesting, missing volumes, and BL. So, first category, things I found interesting. The least specific section because it's all about me picking up things I didn't know I wanted or needed. The first title I found interesting on my adventures of book shopping was The Demon Prince of Momochi House. It actually came up on my Crunchyroll to watch as an anime because your girl loves a good shoujo. But when I saw it at the bookstore, I kind of wanted to read the source first because as a manga lover, I prefer the original source material to the animation most of the time. So if I'm given the opportunity to read it before I watch it, I'll read it. And it's all up my alley anyway. I love a fox demon, so when I saw the first volume at one bookstore, I was like, it must be fate. The universe is telling me to read it before I watch it. And then when I went to the second bookstore and saw like volumes 2 through 5, I was like, you know what? I think this really is destiny peeking in on me, telling me, read it before you watch it. I am really enjoying it from the first volume I've started, and I do think it would be very interesting to compare the anime to the source material because there's always going to be changes in nuance, and I feel like I like to look scene by scene to see how they developed it differently for the different mediums. Second title is I'll Never Be Your Crown Princess, and look at this. Of course I picked this up. I love an isekai. I love all of them so much. Like you don't want to see how many I have like open on my tabs and how many I've read. I've read around 200. If I'm being completely honest, I can't get enough. So if I see an isekai romance, I'm going to shove it down my throat whole. So a lot of these isekai manhwa and manga are getting like printed edition, so I have like a small category within my manga collection of just like reincarnation isekai historical type manga slash manhwa. So I knew this title would fit perfectly in with that little section, especially because a lot of them are more wholesome. I'm going to say all ages, whereas this one is not like that. It has a parental advisory warning on it, and it's from the Steamship imprint. So because it's a little steamier, a little spicier, I thought it would be a good addition to the collection to give it some like variety within that small like section within my manga collection I'm building with this category. I haven't started it yet, so I can't really tell you if it's good or not. I have a feeling I'm gonna like it. I have liked most isekai reincarnation historical mangas I've read, and this series is actually a really good one to collect as a collector because it's finished in 3, so all I need is the third one and this little series is done, though it does have a sequel series that just came out, so I have a feeling that I'll probably get that one too just because I love completion. Next up is Queen of Ragtonia. Does this look familiar to anybody? Because it was brand new to me. If I'm gonna be completely honest though, why I bought this was because I don't have a Q title in my whole collection. It's the only letter of the alphabet that I don't have a single title of until I got this one. So now officially I have one Q title in my spreadsheet logged perfectly, so I don't have any gaps in the alphabet now, and I'm very excited for it. And before you're like, quintessential quintuplets has a Q in it, you could have picked up that one. I don't like that series. I tried it. It's not for me. If you like it, go off. Love that for you. Love it. Be real. Keep it. I want that for you. I don't want that for me. But, and I'm not going to give it a second chance. I thought about it for a second, but I don't want to read it. It just, I don't want to watch it either. It's just not for me. So sorry if you like that one, just not for me. That being said, I was really excited about this series because I actually have 2 other series by this artist. So the mangaka Chika Shiomi did 2 series that I also really like. I don't know if you know the series Urara and its sequel series Rentetsu, but I own both of those series and I'm actually almost complete with Urara. I have all of Rentetsu, which I know sounds backwards, but that's the way I ended up collecting them. And I got them all secondhand, so I get where I can get them. I'm really glad I decided to pick this one up because of the Q title, but also because I like to collect titles by the same artist so I can compare them within themselves and also have a little bit of like their catalog, because in my collection it's nice to have a few series by the same artist so I can see their projection and how they've grown as an artist, how their story styles have changed. This one was a good find. From what I know, it's only this 1 volume has been printed from this series, so if you know of a second volume, please tell me because I'll get whatever's in print. Like, even if it didn't complete itself here in the States, I'll get whatever they had in the States just so I can have all of the English printings. But from my research, I've only seen this single volume put into production. So let me know. Also, let me know if there's a Canadian edition, because I'd get that. I'd get that. It would probably look different, but I'd get a Canadian edition if it was in English. Last volume is Food Wars. So I actually watched this before I read it, which is kind of rare for me, but sometimes that happens a lot with shonen because shonen often always, I feel like, get anime adaptations eventually, so sometimes I'm not like dying to read them unless I happen to come upon them first. And I just so happened to come upon Food Wars first and got really interested in the cooking animation because it is crisp and clean. And because I really like the anime, sometimes I'll get the first volume of an anime that I really like just to have a little bit of its source material in my collection. On the rare occasion, I actually prefer the anime to the manga because I just think the cooking and the sounds and the colors translate so well to anime because it's emotion, and cooking is so much of emotion, so much of a performance, that I feel like I really enjoy watching it play out better in motion than I do in the book. Not to say that the book isn't good. It's great. Images are beautifully drawn, but I really like all the sounds that come with cooking and all the colors that come with cooking. So I picked this up as a little tidbit and a little treat for myself. Section 2 is all about missing volumes, trying to fill in those gaps for series I have already started and are committed to in some capacity finishing. When I get to them, I get to them, and thrifting them is always ideal. The majority of my collection is secondhand, so that usually means that sometimes I might come across volume 3 one trip, and sometimes I might come across volume 7 on another trip, or I might come across half the series, or I won't see volumes for years and years and years. So when I'm at the bookstore, especially my favorite bookstore, the Half Price Books, I'm always looking for missing volumes for series I've started that I'm trying to fill in the gaps for. I do buy new releases. I usually pre-order those, but for my personal collection, I tend to skew more early 2000s, 90s, mid 2000s. That's like basically everything. For my personal collection, my goal is to have all the books I read in my youth at my local library. So they're all the titles I read when I was like 13 or 14, and they've really imprinted on my brain, and they're out of print now, so I'm always like hunting them down so I can relive those fond memories of reading manga in my teenage years so that I can keep them. I also like to thrift and secondhand buy my books because oftentimes they're cheaper than they are cover price, and manga is a very expensive hobby. I like to save where I can, and that's usually secondhand. Missing volumes. First series that I found on my trip was Kiss Him Not Me. Pretty excited to see this one because I have been collecting it, not actively. I got volume 1 years and years and years ago. I wanted to wait on it. It wasn't at the forefront of my mind to collect, but it was nice to see these volumes pop up for me to purchase at a really, really great price, especially because the series is kind of long. I want to save where I can, so buying them secondhand is the great option. I also collect Junko BL series. And that's actually how I originally knew her as a mangaka, was through her BL content. And so when Kiss Him Not Me came out, I was like, oh, this is interesting, but I definitely can see her humor in there. I can definitely see her BL sensibilities, and it's a good one to have to show an artist's trajectory. I also have their other series, Star Cross. It's really funny. It's about this girl who switches bodies with her favorite idol. So imagine the hijinks that ensues with that kind of premise. It had me laugh out loud, which is one of the things I could say about Junko series. Her characters always have such great life in them, like such great energy, such great personality. They feel well-rounded. They feel rooted in foundations that make sense for them. And they're not just like throwaway characters. Never upset to get a Junko series. Miki Falls Summer. I read this series when I first was discovering manga. Yeah, I found it in between volumes at my local library, kind of like shoved into a corner, and it's kind of had a special place in my heart ever since. It is an original English language manga, which sometimes the community likes to beef about, like if it's really manga, if it didn't come from Japan, or if it's just American, because it was made in America by American artists and just in the style of manga, which I see both sides. I consider it manga because it works for my brain as manga. It feels more like manga than it feels like a graphic novel. Like in my mind, like I couldn't feel comfortable putting this with my graphic novel collection because how strongly it emulates and feels like manga. I also have a very special place in my heart for OEL series, and I think I'm going to do a whole video about them. But I was very excited to see this volume because with this one, I only need one more to complete the series. It's a series of just 4 volumes, and I am this close to finishing it. I might have to like actively search for it so I could just be done. I love to be done. Love for my spreadsheet to change color to show me that I've completed a series. So I might actively look for this one instead of going on the usual hunt. So, Flower in the Storm. Similar to Miki Falls, I read this at my local library, so it holds a very special place in my heart for the simple fact that I read it in my youth, so it has nostalgia. I flipped through it again when I picked it up, and I'm like, it's cute, it's short, it's only 2 volumes, short and sweet, not that compelling of a story if I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of generic, kind of I don't want to say mediocre, that sounds really mean, but it was fine. It's fine, but what's really interesting to me about this series is when I looked at it again, I was like, this art feels very familiar. I'm gonna give you a second for my people in the BL community. Look at this art style for a second. I'm gonna give you, like, look at it. Does it look familiar? Because when I saw it, I was like, you know what this looks like? This art reminds me of Cast Haven because it's the same artist. It's the same mangaka. She goes by a different name on this one, but what'd she say? You couldn't hide your art style from me if you wanted to. I've read everything you've ever written under your BL name. So when I saw this again with new, fresh BL eyes, oh, you had to believe that I was finishing this off. Perfect for the trajectory of an artist. This one started out in shoujo, whoop whoop, skipped on over to BL, and let me tell you, the tone, so different. If you've read their BL series, a lighthearted shoujo, not usually their gig, more like traumatizing and depressing. Like, I'm not gonna get into how I feel about Cast Haven. I could talk about that for like 20 minutes straight about how it disappointed me in every way possible. But their other series, because I love terrible things. Not terrible, like badly written, just terrible as in they pierce you to your soul and make you sit in a corner for a little bit to be like, I might need to think about my life choices and why I choose to do this to myself. Very excited to have this. Feels like a little piece of history. I'm not going to talk too in depth about These ones I picked up, like the other ones, I picked them up because I started the series and I wanted to fill in my collection with them. So I saw the volume I didn't have and I grabbed them. Simple as that. I enjoy the series and I will collect them at a leisurely pace. They are not in the forefront of my mind. If they come to me, they come to me when they come to me, because eventually they all will. Our last but certainly not least section is BL. If you can hear the excitement in my voice, it's because I am so excited to talk about this one. Thank you for sticking around if you made it this far. I am a great lover of BL manga and manhwa. They have been really hitting, but we're talking about manga right now because those are the ones I picked up. I believe there might be a direct pipeline from Shoujo Girly to Fujoshi. First series, bam! Our Kingdom Arabian Nights. I was so excited to find this. Like, you don't even understand how excited I was to see this on the shelf. I had seen the regular Our Kingdom right next to it, and I thought I had collected all of the Our Kingdom they had in print because the series is famously discontinued. Like, they never finished it. I own all the printed titles, I thought, until I saw this one sitting there on the shelf. I said, I didn't know they had a spinoff. I didn't know they had a Triss in a different country. Like, gold. You don't even understand how happy I am to have this. Oh gosh. I didn't know I was incomplete until I was completed. Really soothes my brain knowing that I have finished a series as much as I can. I might get the Japanese ones if I can find them, just to have a full series split. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Deco Boko Bittersweet Days. To my BL fans, you recognize this. This is actually a sequel series. I read the series before it came out in print, so I had been aware of it before it became in publication. So when I got the pre-order announcement, I did not purchase because when I read the series, I was like, it's cute, it's fun. The pair wasn't my favorite when I first read it, but as time progresses and our tastes and our brains understand things a little bit differently, I actually really enjoy this coupling. I actually find them very cute to have like smaller seme, taller ook, have like, sorry, I know it's uke, but I've been reading BL longer than I've been knowing Japanese, so when I saw it, I thought it was ook instead of uke. So smaller seme, taller uke. I find their dynamic a lot cuter than I did when I first read the series. Sometimes you gotta let it marinate, and this one really did marinate for me. So this is actually like the sequel series. There's a first one, and I actually think there might be one after this one too. So that's where it gets a little confusing when like a series is over and then they decide to pick it up for like extra things, but it's technically like a sequel series, even though it's like the same characters from the same universe, from the same book. They just, I guess, didn't know they were gonna get another run of it, so new thing. So I think I'm gonna start collecting these ones. I don't know if I'm gonna be like gung-ho about it. I might, because the first volume series thing of this one is actually kind of hard to come by. Like, I can't find it except for like 1 or 2 places, so I might actually be getting it sooner than I think I was originally going to get it. I just talked myself into buying a new volume of manga. Maybe I shouldn't do these videos. Talk myself into buying manga. Maybe I should do these videos. Talk myself into buying manga. Glad I picked it up. It's cute, cutesy, spicy at times, but mostly sweet. Picnic. Ooh, a mailer card. Fun. I wonder if they still accept them. But yeah, Picnic. I love old school BL, especially the ones with these dust jackets on them. I just find them very pleasing, especially because I know in Japan, like, manga comes with a dust jacket, so I like this little addition aesthetically. I also like a BL series that used to be called Yaoi, because I've been reading BL for so long that it did indeed used to be called Yaoi. When I saw this one, I saw a few other series that fit that brief for me, like older, dust jacket. The thing that made me pick up this one opposed to the other ones is this is a single volume, complete in one. It's a collection of short stories, which means it's finished. I don't have to go looking for anything else. And the other ones were series with like multiple volumes in them, because there was like a 5 and there was like a 3, and I was like, I don't know if I want to invest my time and energy and money into starting a new series that I might not be able to finish complete, and then I'll get really down about just having like the bare minimum of knowing that I can't find them. But this one fits the brief, fits what I like to keep in my BL collection, and complete in one. Collector's dream, complete in one volume. Done. Done. Perfect. The last manga I picked up on my adventures of manga shopping is Hitorijime, My Hero. And I know that this is not everybody's favorite. Let's be real about that. Some people don't like the age gap. I understand. Some people think the dynamic's a little, like, interesting. I understand. Not everybody is gonna like everything. I like buying manga that gets turned into an anime because I think it's like a little time capsule piece of history. I actually haven't been like actively collecting the series for a really long time. It hasn't even been in my like mind forever. I bought the first volume like years back, like so years back. When I heard that it was going to be in production, I picked up the first volume because I had read it before it was printed, and I was like, I remember liking that. And I read it and I was like, I like it. It's a little different because I'm older, my brain's more developed, and I'm like, relationships kind of but not in a way where I was like gonna be like totally put off from it. The character expressions are really funny. I really like their face. Oh my god, look at this. Look at a little corgi. I have a corgi, so whenever I see one in the book, I get really excited. Sorry, off track. But I was also very glad to find as many volumes as I did. I found up through 7. That's like almost about half the series. And this one's kind of long. I think it's pushing, it's into like its 15th volume. So I roughly got like half the series in one go for like way cheaper, way cheaper. Thank you for coming along while I feed my addiction. I appreciate you letting me ramble on about manga. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about collecting manga. I've been collecting manga for like so long now that I've picked up some knowledge on where to buy from, what to look for. Personally, like everybody's taste in manga is going to be different, and I can explain to you why I'm collecting so much because my collection is quite large. I own over 2,000 volumes of manga, which isn't as much as some people have, but it's not a small amount. Go into detail on why I have so many volumes, why I collect what I collect, and just basically any manga questions you may have. I have some ideas for some other videos, like I mentioned, the OEL one, and also comparing like anime and manga page by page and like where they start to veer off, if you know what I'm telling you. I also have this idea for a video about shoujo boyfriends that burn me to a freaking crisp. The ones I really, really hate, because there are some garbage goblins roaming around these pages. This is the manga from my intro. I got it at an anime convention, 20% off cover price, so good place to find manga. I'm Elena, and as you can tell, I love manga.